Sacred and divine ancestors, guardians of the gateway of sacred lotus initiation, please accept our deepest gratitude for your healing presence on our altars and in our lives. Thank you for your guidance and inspiration, and for your love and blessings, and please accept our love and blessings in return. Tapu. Great and divine Supreme Mother, thank you for showing us the way to become a realized sacred woman. We thank you for awakening us to our true natures, for opening the gateways of sacred woman enlightenment. We thank you for washing our souls at the shores of the great ocean of Nu, for charging us with the light of the sun's rays, for delivering us a refreshed breath of life, for helping us to stand on solid ground as we return to our sacred woman seat of stability, strength, poise, ease, and empowerment. We thank you, great and divine Supreme Mother, for reawakening and healing our wounds, for bringing power back into our words and serenity into our silence. We thank you for giving us the foods that reflect good health and longevity, for cleansing our space and presenting us with a sacred home, for beautifying us and bringing out our creativity in unlimited ways. We thank you for healing our lives, giving us the desire to help others heal themselves as well. We thank you for restoring all of our relations, for giving us the courage to experience sacred unions, and for fulfilling our spirits with joy and gratitude. Tapu. So to start today's Sister Circle, we are going to be doing the Sacred Lotus Initiation Meditation found on page 360 of your book. Queen recommends that you wear white or a light blue, and also have or like a mantle shawl covering your head of those colors, and that you also perhaps cover your altar, change the altar cloth if you use one, to those colors to represent purification, illumination, and devotion. And if you've put on your white clothes at all, as I recommended last month, then I'm sure you've already felt it. There's this like this feeling when you're wearing, it's like a uniform kind of, but it's like a uniform to your devotion, a uniform to your devotion to your spirituality, to the growth of yourself, to the wellness of yourself, betterment of yourself. I mean, there's just so many beautiful layers to it that kind of blossom and unfold when you take the time to wear the white clothes and represent that dedication on the outside in some kind of a way. So she also recommends that you have a stone, a crystal on you. She says amethyst. And she says that you can have it in your palm or over your crown. And it's the sacred healing stone of the Nefer Atum Gateway. However, if you do not have an amethyst, please get the stones that you've been using for your healing journey, what's in your collection that intuitively you feel would be appropriate for this meditation. And that is all the information that you need to know about this initiation meditation. Enjoy. Welcome home, High Queen. Breathe deep. You are finally through. You've pushed yourself, learned, reached heights that you'd never have imagined, as well as risen above many challenges and crossroads, and you may now take your rightful place in your seat of power. Take your crystal into one hand. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. You are here now. You have finally arrived. As you sit in your seat of divine power, allow the light within you to emanate from your center as you merge with the dynamic force of unlimited, ever-flowing light and energy from within. Take notice of how this feels, for you will never be separated from your seat again. This seat of highest good, where the lotus grows under and around it, where strength is secured, good deeds flow, wisdom soars, excellent health manifests, and compassion and nurturing reside. An enlightened sacred woman, you sit upon this seat by your very nature. The light has been awaiting you for thousands of years, for lifetimes gone by. Welcome home to this great seat of our beginnings. Sacred woman in the making, sacred woman reawaken. Sacred spirit, hold us near, protect us from all harm and fear beneath the stones of life. Direct our steps in the right way as we journey through this vision. Ancestors, surround us in your most absolute perfect light. Anoint us in your sacred purity, peace, and divine insight. Bless us, truly bless us as we share this sacred life. Teach us, sacred spirit, to be in tune with the universe. Teach us how to heal with the inner and outer elements of air, fire, water, and earth. Ashe. I am a sacred woman. 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 I'm about to go to the store, but I did want to get our studies over and done with for the Adinkra and the 42 laws. Our Adinkra card for today, our Adinkra study is Awar Fra Adube. Awar Fra Adube, a snake that is climbing a raffia tree. Because of its thorns, the raffia tree is a dangerous place to the snake. Their ability to climb the tree is a model of persistence and prudence. So this represents persistence, prudence, steadfastness. There is no path. You have to create. You have to create one, and you can create one. You can do this. Persist, focus, and steadfastness will get you through. Trailblazers are legends, and you will build so that those who come after you can reach higher heights than you imagined. Make your ancestors proud. You won't have all the pieces, but you can still complete the puzzle. Feel your way through the dark. Create a blueprint. This is so inspiring, especially for this time we're in right now, where, I think especially right whenever you try and bring it all full circle is right when everything comes crashing down. In my experience, that's how it always is. If you're really putting in the work and then you really get to the point where you're like, it's the finish line, I'm right there. Really, then all of a sudden you take the turn and you're like, oh, I have to climb this tree full of spikes that is highly dangerous to climb. Or I'm facing this big thing that is, very worrisome, stressful, making our mind put in some worries. But don't forget that you are capable, even when you can't see the finish line, even when you can't see the end or see the way. It's still possible, is what this symbol represents. I think that's very powerful. I need some of this in my life right now, actually. It's a very good one to see. So our 42 law study today brings us to I will not defraud temple offerings. I will not defraud temple offerings. I think this one is a very powerful statement because it can be taken at face value, obviously. Don't go and defile temple offerings. But it can be taken into a lot of different directions. For example, from the mindset of our body being our temple, it can remind us about what we're putting into our body, into our soul, feeding into our psyche, into our lives. And then on the other hand, it can also be a reminder to honor what is sacred as sacred, see what is sacred as sacred, right? Because a temple offering can often be what would just be, could be simplified to a food, a statue, a thing, you know what I mean? But when you elevate it to this status, then this is you honoring the sacredness that this thing has been given because of where it's been placed and who it's been offered to. All right, my kids need me. But I think that's all I was going to say anyways. That's all the notes I took for these Adinkra study and 42 laws of Mott study. So, welcome to this opening of the final gateway. Look at that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so exciting that we're finally doing this. I'm so sorry about the delay of putting out this video. It turns out it's a little harder than I realized to be trying to do the work yourself and also teaching the work, right? Putting out the video and talking about these things and what they mean. But then also, applying them in real time when things are like going down in regular life. It's very difficult. And also I want to give you fair warning. I'm trying to put micro twists in my hair, or mini twists, whatever we call those. And so, yeah, my hair is kind of a mess. So if anything falls out and you're like, whoa, geez, what is... I'm trying to do my hair. Trying to find time to do that as well. So yeah, I've had a lot going on. I hope you've had a lot going on, in good ways, and hopefully, if there are bad ways, we're finding the ways to handle them. We're finding the ways to reach in and get that really get that that those roots work and the juju working towards our favor, using those things that we know to make things happen in a better way, or turn situations around that might be stressing us out. So we start on page 358 for the Nefer Atum Sacred Lotus Initiation Gateway. Its element is the ether. It's this spiritual essence. It's because we're taking it all and we're making each of these little elements, right? It kind of, to me, it reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have watched the Full Metal Alchemist, and in that show, the Elric brothers lose their mother. They try to bring her back using alchemy. So they put all the parts for a body together, right? They put all the little ingredients together, line them up, and they're young. And so they're kind of just like, well, that's the human body, There's salt, there's, water, there's, all these little minerals and essences. And so they are not essences. They just put together the raw stuff, just the material that would make a human body. And predictably, that's not all that goes into us, right? We're a little bit more than that. There's some sort of the animation that we have within us, the soul that we have within us, takes it to this next level. So I like to think of sacred womanhood kind of the same way, right? We have all these gateways. We have, if you talk like this, if you cook like this, if you focus on how your mind's working with this, if you do each of these things, those things, that's a sacred woman. But there's a little something that's missing from that, and that's the character that you put behind it, your drive, your dreams, your vision. And that's what makes each sacred woman different. That's what makes each appearance different. Each person's interpretation of material slightly different, is that little bit of character that we put into it. So that's what we're looking to do now. We're looking to take all of these things and put them together, except unlike the Elric brothers, we know that there is that effort and that essence that we are going to be putting into ourselves that will help make it so that we really can be just living our lives. It's not a full-time job being a sacred woman. It's switching out habits that are not serving us for habits that do serve us. And keeping on habits that do serve us, you know what I'm saying, if we already are on the right track with certain things, and those things don't really need to be changed or altered in certain ways. And then also just interpreting, right? We always have to make sure we're interpreting it in a way that is us and unique to us. So she says, Ancient African spiritual women adorn themselves by covering with a lotus blossom that we call the third eye between the eyebrows, but it is actually the first eye. The lotus represents spiritual illumination and beauty. Placing the lotus over the brow means one has a perfected state of consciousness, an illuminated mind that is a garden of peace. Out of the mud comes forth the sacred lotus, Nefer Atum, symbol of beauty, grace, purity, and perfection. Her wisdom tells us that what appears to be life's challenges, struggles, ups and downs, confusion, pain, and sadness are actually opportunities for us to move up out of the mud. As we move through these tests, challenges, and struggles, we bring forth our inner lotus, the reflection of our inner beauty. For the ascension of your soul, meditate daily on the lotus blossom on your brow. Envision what the lotus represents so that you will manifest nature's beauty from deep within. So I love how she uses that word represents right there, because that's what I was trying to talk about, was how each of these things is symbolic and they do represent something. And so it's not about what it is, it's about what it represents, and then how to place that representation into your life and have it be, something that you're representing, maybe not in the same way, but you're still representing. Through Nefer Atum, the sacred lotus initiation gateway, you will experience oneness with the Creator, divine inspiration, divine wisdom, spiritual unity, and empowerment in your body, mind, and spirit. This will place you in the state of Os, the great mother, a reflection of your higher self reborn as a sacred woman. I definitely have been feeling that divine inspiration, especially with, visions of what I've been where I've been wanting to go and what I've been wanting to do and represent for myself. So I really do love that part. I think that, when you're really at that point where, it doesn't feel like the hugest struggle, and you're also, it's not even about it being the hugest struggle to follow through with the gateways. It's about being at that point where you're working towards it, but you're also not like beating yourself up like, oh, I'm not at this. And I was watching a really awesome video the other day. I want to say by like the womb sauna. I'll link her. I swear I will. I'll link her videos. She had some videos about, being enough and questioning like why you put so much into just changing everything and not and thinking that you're not enough, and like, living your life in a state of, I've got to work harder, I'm so lazy, oh, I'm such a failure, oh, I'm like, all those like things where you think everyone else is like here but you are here. And I mean, okay, there are times where, obviously we got to put in work, but there's a difference between recognizing like, oh, this situation, I need to put in work, I should get up early tomorrow and put in work. And then there's chronically living your life like, oh, I'm never enough, like I need to push harder, I need to give more, I need to be the one who's always doing. And I've fallen into this trap myself, you know what I mean? Like, I've had to stop. And like earlier this year, I had to talk with myself about even just doing these sister circles and like how much time it takes for me. And I typically give away a lot of the money I earn on this stuff just to people who need it, other Black women who might need it. And if I have it through this, like, I can give it. And so I typically do that. But then I also don't charge on like spiritual Black girls. And so it's like I do a ton of like volunteer work that does expend a lot of energy. And she did touch on that type of thing. And it reminded me of that thought that I had, that I need to also remember to take care of myself and not always just be giving, especially when I need to replenish or I need to, pause and just take some of that time and remember that I am still worthy, or that, you know, we are still worthy even when we're not volunteering or in a place to do so at the time. So anyway, so I thought that was super profound, and it just reminded me that, you know, it is supposed to be just a lifestyle that you're living. It's not supposed to be and then I've got to add this to my schedule, and then this, and then I haven't done this in weeks, and then I see all these people online doing this and I haven't done that, and so I'm like a failure, I'm a struggle witch or whatever. You know, like, it's the pressure on ourselves is real, and sometimes the pressure on ourselves is put on by other people, people who don't know our situations, people who are judging based on like nothing, you know, totally rooted in reality. And sometimes it's us comparing ourselves to people, which, again, let's be real, most people online, it's not, what we're seeing is not rooted in reality. And with, it's okay to see things that are not rooted in reality, right? We all love a good fantasy book or novel. We all love a good movie. You know, it's all a reenactment. You know, even the most realistic movie, it's acting, it's fake. We love to get, you know, lost in fakeness, and it's okay as long as we, you know, remember it's fake. We remember that this is branding, this is advertisement, this person is putting forth this image to give you this feeling, not maybe to put you down, but I mean, you do have to remember that it is to present the most perfect image to elicit feelings of like happiness at seeing that perfection or that goodness or that glory. And you know, and it's not there for us to be nitpicking our own lives. Like, this person manages to get up every day and like do all of this highly spiritual stuff, or pull their life together, and the house is clean and the kids have no stains on their cheeks, and the, you know, nothing is on the floor, and the meal is cooked and bubbling, and they also work full time and go to school. I don't know, you know, like, there are a lot of people out there though who kind of portray themselves as that, and then we kind of get caught. And then when you have a whole manual telling you all the things that you could be doing, you know, you can get really caught into this cycle, this trap in the mind, and that's really not what it's about. That's really not what it's being a sacred woman is. You just have to be finding your way in a way that is healthy and suits you and honors you. It doesn't degrade you or make you feel like you're always 3 steps behind. Because in my opinion, a lot of the times when I'm starting to feel 3 steps behind, that's usually a sign to me that I need to simplify. I need to get rid of things. I need to get rid of something I'm doing, cancel plans, something. I have too much going on, too much on my plate. I need to simplify. So, the oil for this gateway is the lotus oil. And let's see, we have your herbal tonic. Sorry, your herbal tonic for this month is solar water. I really like this one because she doesn't mention too many solar, sun, spells, magic, utilization of the sun's energy. In this one, there's like a sun bath for your womb. Earlier on, I think you put your punani up to the sun at one point, and then we have this solar water. That's about it. That's about the only things I know of. So the solar water is pure water that is charged by the sun for 1 to 4 hours. The sun is just, you know, so healing. It's like, that's why people will often put their plates right in the sun, because it's got that natural bleaching effect. When you put your cloth diapers for babies in the sun, it has the natural bleaching effect, so that's how you don't have stains. I remember I was just like, how do these people have no stains on theirs? It's because you dry it in the sun and it will bleach away those stains. Very nice. And so yeah, it's like also the disinfectant for the dishes. The sun is just so healing, and I love the sun energy. I love using sunlight. Everybody always wants to stay up till midnight. I'm like, nah, put me out in the noon sun for a little while. I'll feel all charged and rejuvenated and like tingly, and my skin will feel really good. So, yeah, I think that the use of the sun energy is so lovely, and that is the herbal tonic for this gateway. So easy, free, anybody could do it, right? You just put the cup outside for an hour. Maybe you can leave it there, set it and forget it, leave your prayer over it, set it and forget it. Or you can be praying in front of it, maybe take some time to meditate outside for an hour, and spend some time with that glass, speak some wellness over it, and drink it later on. But getting those big glass jugs from Whole Foods would be really helpful, because then like the sunlight can get into it and you can get a lot of water done at once. But I hate Whole Foods, y'all. It's a love-hate relationship. They do a lot of really terrible things, but that water that they sell there, y'all, it's so good. So the flower essences, we have Star Tulip, which is for spiritual receptivity, opening the feminine aspects of the higher world. And pomegranate, creative expression of the feminine aspect of self. Mugwort, enhancing and balancing moonlight receptive qualities of the psyche. Iris, creating a chalice or inner vessel for receiving higher inspiration, attunement to feminine forces. Angelica, attunement with spiritual beings, protection and guidance from the angelic realms. Alpine lily, greater inner space for the feminine self. Lotus, spiritual elixir, enhances and harmonizes higher consciousness, open and expansive spirituality, meditative insight, and synthesis. So with the flower essences, remember she says you take those on the under the tongue, on or under the tongue, 4 drops per day, or you add those to a small glass of that purified solar water and sip throughout the day. The flower essence information is page 30 to 31. So it would be in one of the first videos that we did together if you don't have the book. And she recommends a specific company, but I'm sure you can find edible flower essences just by Googling. And looking into it. Let's see. She reminds us to continue the transitional dietary practices if you can. She urges for the 100% raw diet for the duration of this gateway, to really be utilizing these foods in their raw forms, really getting that cleanse. The raw foods go straight through you, and they can really help cleanse out the colon on their way out. And she also has fast recommendations. So that's page 179 to 180 if you want to go back and look at some of her fasting recommendations. But yes, so in preparation for that final initiation video we'll be doing, she does recommend that you go ahead and what was I gonna say? Oh, and do the raw foods detox, fasting. And so if you do not have money, let's say you do not have money to be going fully raw, whatever, because that's a very expensive diet. It really is. It's not the most, the easiest to sustain as somebody who doesn't just have money to spend like that, hundreds per person for the month. You can be sticking with either the vegan diet, trying to have the most healthy vegan diet you can. You can also just do water fasting. Water fasting, or fasting during the day. You can be creative about what kind of cleanse. Maybe you just have a detox tea. You still have a box of that laying around somewhere. Be creative about how you would like to prepare. Make a regimen for yourself that is something that's doable for you, doable for your situation and circumstance. It doesn't have to be this huge pressure, or like, oh, I can't do anything, I can't do that, so I can't do all this, so I won't do anything at all. Do a little something. Find something that really speaks to you. And like that does remind me about the the what's it what was I gonna say, the like laying off of recreational drugs that I chose. So if you are somebody who, you know, drinks or smokes or something like that, you know, taking that detox to another level will really be a you know, helped by continuing with these detoxes, fasts, etc. You know, there is just stopping those things, and then there's also going the extra steps. So, you know, really try and fine tune this to what you're able to commit to. So, she reminds you to keep up with your journal. I actually, you know, I felt really called to my womb journal all of a sudden, y'all. And I was like, when was the last time I even wrote in this? Months ago, months ago. Go figure, it took me until the Lotus initiation to feel really called to be writing in the journal. So far, you know, mostly this year, I've been really feeling called to like meditate, yoga, that sort of thing. But like actually writing stuff down has been a really forced activity of mine, several times. Like, I'm going to do it, and so I've like done it, just so I'd have stuff. But I really maybe wrote like 10 pages, maybe 20 tops throughout the year, nothing, anything. And then all of a sudden here I am. This month so far I've written like almost half of what, or half as much as I have previously. So I was like, yeah, I was really feeling the words of Sashetta coming out, and it's been helping to give a lot of clarity. You know, for a little while I was trying to really drown out the noise, or drown out the noise of my mind with noise outside. And then I had to be in silence walking to the store the other day, and that really took, you know, it all to another level for me. I was like, oh, you know, I had a lot of epiphanies, even though I had been trying to not hear the sounds in my head. What I did hear was actually, you know, good stuff. And so sometimes you're scared of where your thoughts might take you, but it actually ends up being, you know, really good information that you needed to hear. Usually, I'm sure it's good information you needed to hear. You're just trying to avoid. So, waking up 4 a.m. I think I've only done that, I'll say like 3 or 4 times. Mostly I've been getting up at like 6, which is better than usual, but also not really what my goal is. I've been having that issue with finding that right cutoff time to go to sleep at, and then so I'm like not still feeling drained and like lead in the morning. And like, no, I need this sleep. I need this. So I'm working on that. I do need to still bust out my quilt. I feel like I just need to finish my one quilt before the end of this year. What is going on? I did finish the whole body of the girl that I showed you, and then yeah, my applique needs to, I need to step it up. The year is coming to an end. We have 3 more months. If you're finishing your quilt or shawl, definitely do that. But we're going to be doing it again next year. That's something that we are going to be doing, is the quilt. So yes, you can definitely wait for that with me. We have, let's see, your sacred tools, the sacred feather of Mott, shells representing Nu, the ocean, right? We talked about in the prayer, being washed in the great ocean of Nu. Our souls have been washed in the great oceans of Nu, charging us, you know, or what was that, enlightenment? Oh no, this was part of the enlightenment. It's part of the cleansing. It's like a baptism is what she's saying. So the shell represents this on the altar. And you could also have a scale, so you can put the feather on one end of the scale, and it's supposed to represent the weighing of your heart against the feather, to make sure your heart is as light as a feather. It's you've not committed any wrongs to yourself or others in this time, in this day. Um, don't forget to, throughout the week, continue to closely observe the wisdom of this gateway, the wisdom of bringing everything together to create who you are, who you're meant to be, who you're becoming, the wisdom of utilizing these to make your life easier, not harder, to make your life more fulfilled, to make your life more cohesive, more spiritual in every touch and movement. which can then permeate and emanate throughout the rest of your life. Our closing sacred words for this gateway are: ancestors or Mother, Father Divine, help us or help me walk through my life as a sacred journey of lessons learned and visions realized. Help me to be reborn as a sacred woman. Ancestors, help me walk through my life as a sacred journey of lessons learned and visions realized. A sacred journey of lessons learned and visions realized. That's so beautiful. Help me to be reborn as a sacred woman. Very beautiful. I absolutely adore that. All right, so we are going to stop there for the initiation pages of this book for right now. What I'm going to also do is just talk with you a little bit more about, where I've been in my, little journey these last couple weeks. It's been really eye-opening to me, just, how hard I have been on myself about a lot of these things, and it wasn't until I was able to really relax from that, which was the beginning of, like, it's been, actually, I wouldn't say it just like suddenly occurred. It's been like a year in the making. But I did definitely reach kind of a breaking point in that these last few weeks, where I was able to really feel um, content in a lot of things, really sure about my vision in a lot of things, and also kept getting set up to hear and see, clips and audio and text and words, etc., spoken and otherwise, that, really affirmed me into my place, gave me inspiration, which was really necessary, because I also, at this time, have been feeling really stressed about a lot of things in my personal life, been feeling really like, um, when your heart just gets tight and you're just kind of like, what's coming next? I don't even know if I can prevent what's coming next. And you're just kind of at a loss, you know what I mean? You're just kind of at a loss. So like there was that, and that both, occurring simultaneously, like a lot of things falling apart, but then my mind kind of coming together and recognizing what I'd like for the future at the same time. So, anyways, that's been a very interesting last few weeks for me, which is why I wasn't able to make the videos. But there is another video that I'm going to be putting out ASAP, with either later this afternoon or tomorrow, that will, bring all of this full circle and catch us up. So we'll be ready to keep going throughout the gateways. But I really would like for everybody to just kind of step back within themselves, and, look at their plan and see, if they're just adding things, what can be released while they're adding things, so that we'll make sure that our plates aren't too full and that our goals are manageable, even these lofty goals, right? Because you can have a super lofty goal, but still kind of break it down into that manageable essence, and, or, what I mean, like it needs to be manageable in some ways. And so I think that, just piling on to ourselves things that aren't reasonable in this next month, for example, like, I don't know, redoing your whole wardrobe, or figuring out some sort of aesthetic thing. I don't know. It's the try and think of things that you can do right now, things that you can switch right now, things that you can try and remember right now, instead of things that are like, oh, and then in the future I'm going to do this, in the future I'm going to do that. Because this month is about trying to live that lifestyle. This gateway is about trying to really live that lifestyle, understanding that you are in your state of power, you are in your center, and telling yourself that you will not be moved from this, living that truth for this next month, seeing how that really feels for you, to be doing. Right, may your ancestors and spirit guides be with you at every crossroads, and I will see you next time.